Λοιπόν, περνάμε ωστόσο τώρα στον δεύτερο προσκεκλημένο του στροϊκού μας τραπεζιού, την οργάνωση από την Πορτογαλία, μία οργάνωση για την ενίσχυση της ανάπτυξης γενικά, με α κεφαλαίο D, development, με D κεφαλαίο, σε τοπικό όσον αφορά την Πορτογαλία επίπεδο, αλλά και σε ευρωπαϊκό, μέσα από δομές κοινωνικές και κοινωνικής συλλογικότητας και αυξημένης κοινωνικής συμμετοχικότητας, με δομές που υποστηρίζουν σε πολλές περιπτώσεις τις ίδιες τις οργανώσεις των μεταναστών, τις οργανώσεις της νεολαίας, που συνεργάζονται με κοινωνικές ομάδες ευαίσθητες, μειονεκτούσες και μειονότητες, με κοινωνικά περιθωριοποιημένους ανέργους και πρόσφατα, από ό,τι μου λένε οι σημειώσεις μας, με τους νεοεισερχόμενους μετανάστες και τους πρόσφυγες στην Πορτογαλία. Ο κύριος Ludgero Teixeira.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the organizers and everybody that came. Actually, it's really good for us to be part of this project. I want to thank you specifically for that, and thanks for the invitation. Vanessa already presented really good our organization. And I'll not actually have many more of what you already said, points, in terms of points. But it's good also that we focus specifically, not only working with people, but we focus also to empower organizations, to empower network. How we do that? PRSD, it means providers of social response to the development. So we support, let's say, informal groups of refugees in Portugal when they are trying to or struggle to do activities, looking for funds, invite local governments, national governments. We support them to legalize their own groups. We support them to structure and, let's say, register their organizations. For example, today we have a refugees association in Portugal. We train them, we give them the capacity, and we support them to register their organizations. And now we wrote the application for them to get funds to run their own activities involving refugees, people in Portugal. This is the kind of support we provide to the organizations. Not only in Portugal, we do across European countries. We go to Sweden, we go to Finland, Ireland, Belgium, Austria, in many European countries. We work and we support other African organizations, particularly African organizations, to write their application and get funds to do their transnational activities, like transnational training course among African young people living in Europe. We support them to do international conference. We support them also to get national funds. What I would like to tell you in terms of presentation, that so we don't have a presentation there, my presentation. So I would just, yes, thanks. So you will see a little bit of what we are doing, but it's not only, let's say, in grassroots level. We do at high level. We involve with the European Commission, we involve with national government, local government, intergovernment organizations like the United Nations, European Commission, African Union as well. We now have support, for example, in Sweden, African Empowerment Center. It's a big organization that was completely dead since 2011. The last activities they did, it was in 2011, and it was achieved by our support. It was a training course among African young people in Europe. The last activity they did, it was in 2011. then today, we told them, look, you have a big names. You have a great opportunity in Sweden. You have to continue to do the activities. From 2011 till now, in less than 6 months, we support them to structure again, we support them to write the application, and they got funds at the national level, Swedish institutions, and they also got funds now at the European level. They have more than 150,000 to run a project that will be Africa-Europe Youth Cooperation. That one of the organizations that we involve from Greece as well is a partner, Asante, that will run the project between African countries and European countries. Will be different activities like training courses, seminars, international youth conferences among young people in African countries and European countries. This is the kind of work that we do. That's why I put the rule of African diaspora youth in Europe. What we can do. Sorry, can I get some water? I'll speak a little bit fast and then it's very hot here, so. I apologize. Thank you. So what we do, this is a youth, African diaspora youth entrepreneurs. So we focus also on social entrepreneurship. It's several topics that we do, like training young people or young leaders how to lead their own groups at the local level, training young people how to be active participating in their society. You know that many people with African or immigrants backgrounds, they are not so interested in the national policy or local policy. Imagine European policy. They don't care if they want to vote, they don't care about elections, even being European citizens. So it's not only among African immigrants or immigrants young people with, let's say, different backgrounds, but also it's transversal to young people in Europe. They don't care a lot about election. I'm sure you have this kind of program in Greece as well. So that's why we care to bring people together, social entrepreneurs, you know, to share the best practices, to share their experience, their knowledge, to give the opportunity to others to do the same things. You know, when we have some gaps between organizations, between people in their countries, we bring people together to fill this gap and to share the experience, to not do the same mistakes. Please, this is a meeting that we had before. That social entrepreneurship meeting was at the UNIDO. UNIDO is United Nations Industrial Development Organizations. They support development countries to create companies, to create the job opportunities in Africa, in Asia, in Middle East, in Europe, in Latin America. They support big companies to open jobs opportunities. But they also support young people that want to start their companies as well. That's why we did this let's say, international meeting in UNIDO, in headquarters in Vienna. So these people came from many different European countries, and some came from Africa as well. We had ministers from some African countries, youth ministers. We had a representative of United Nations, UNIDO as well, Austrian government. So they also support this annual meeting, is African Diaspora Youth Forum in Europe. And it's promoted by African students in Austria, and also is promoted by ADI, that is a network of African diaspora youth in Europe. So, please, let's go. So, some of you met Sana, that came a month before, that she's also worked with me. We work together in development projects, specifically involving immigrants organizations to run their own projects at the local level. Now we are working in projects for European programs that will support activities, as I said before, between Africa and Europe Youth Cooperation. And this is a meeting to have a discount of time. No, I don't want to take you so long. So, what I was saying, it's okay. You give me sign when it's okay, I was saying that these kind of activities we do, it's also to bring people together. And not only to bring young people together, but to make, let's say, people to discuss in the same space with the decision makers. When I said decision makers, it comes from intergovernment organizations, let's say national government, and also local government. Bring young people in same space with these decision makers. And you can go to the next one. So this was the meeting that we did at the European Youth Center in Budapest. Because we work also with the Council of Europe in the youth field, and we bring young people together. We train them. Why we train them? Because we want to increase their capacity. Because they are the local leaders that work with people in their localities, in different European level, with immigrants young people, with excluded young people, with marginalized young people in their countries. Most of them, they have their own organization, local organization in their countries, and they work with social excluded people in their countries at the local level. This is why we train them. We train them to get the capacity, how to dialogue, how to get, let's say, opportunities from different institutions to run their own projects. It's focused mainly on social and economical inclusion of excluded young people or young people with few opportunities. This is why we train these young leaders. We train them to train and to increase the capacity of social and economical inclusion of young people or immigrants young people living in disadvantaged neighborhoods. Okay? So let's go to the next slide. So there is several meetings. We also have the activities, cultural activities, you know, mix it with the training course. We do international young people. We invite people from everywhere to come together to share their experience, to learn from each other, and then to see where there is opportunity to increase, above all, synergy. And this is what actually I'm very happy to be here. I will make sure that before I leave this country, I will get your contact. I will talk to each one of you to understand what we can do together. Because synergies, it will allow us to do more than what we are doing now. This is what I believe, and this is why I'm very happy to be here. There is a training course that we did in Stockholm. We did national meetings in Portugal, international youth exchange in Sweden and Portugal. We do training among African diaspora young people living in Europe, in Dublin. So there is several activities we do many times annually in different European countries and also in African countries, because we want to link the capacity that we have in our network. We want every single organization to get their own capacity to run their own projects that increase the social and economical integration as well of people or immigrants community. So this is how we believe that the inclusion of these people will also benefit economically the country. Because every time you have exclude people in your country, it will be actually the big cost for your country. So that's why we also want these people to get the capacity to contribute, not as a Oscar, but as a, let's say, sponsor, as a tax person that pay the tax in the countries where they are living as well. So this will economically and socially include them in their own society or in the host country where they are living now. For example, refugees, immigrant people, as you talked before. So that's why we don't want them to participate only. We want them to do. And we believe you get more experience, more knowledge by doing, not only by participating or just by listening to others. We believe by doing, that's why we want to train them to do their own things. We want to train them to get their own funds, opportunity, to run their own projects. We don't want them only to invite them to come and listen. We want them to invite us as well to go. And how we can allow them to invite us is to train them to do the same like you are doing here. You understand that? This is why we train them. This is why we want them to be well included in the country where they are living. And the good things, the good impact of it, it's many of them, when they are very, very well included, they also create opportunities to the others. It's a multiplier situation. I would say win-win situation between both sides. Because not only they increase the social and economical inclusion of people in the country where they are living in Europe, but they also create the opportunity to develop projects in their origin countries, for example, in African countries. This is why many organizations now, they are not only doing projects in Europe, but they are using also the European programs opportunity to develop and to train young people in African countries as well. This is the good things. Preparing people that allow them not only to wish to come to Europe, as many want only to come, but to prepare them what they, or if they want to come, what they will find in Europe. What will be the situation? What will be the obstacles they will face in Europe? And then create more than that, create the opportunity for them to be well included there, that they don't need to come. Do you understand? This is why we train them. So please, I don't want to take you a lot of time. When I said we bring people together, it's about structured dialogue. Dialogue between young people and decision makers. That woman, she is the MP, member of the European Parliament from Ireland. And we did a training course among African young people in Ireland. And we invite her to come and to share the experience. And she was one of the fighters in the European Parliament to create youth guarantee. Do you know what is youth guarantee program? Youth guarantee program is the European program that allow young people to get employed. There is many companies that can get funds, specific funds, to employ young people. And they can get funds from this European program. You can search for this, youth guarantee. And they will get money that can pay young people in their companies or NGOs, okay? So this is the woman that we invite to come to talk about this youth guarantee program. Yes, please, let's go to the next. So we have international meetings. This is the African University on Youth and Development. We did in Cape Verde, now is achieving in Nairobi, in Kenya. We also have the African Diaspora Forum in Netherlands that we do annually, bring decision makers and already immigrants people that are already involved at national and European policy. They're already national deputies, European deputies as well. So we invite them to come to share their experience with us. Please, let's go to the... This is Africa-Europe Youth Summit. In every 3 years, we do the African-Europe Youth Summit. And I'm sure you know about the summit of head of states, Africa-Europe Summit of the head of states, where the prime ministers and the presidents of African and European countries came together and they do the summit to discuss which kind of cooperation. So this youth summit we do in parallel with the head of states summit from Africa and Europe. And we do recommendations to the leaders what they should do to the young people from Africa and Europe. And then we present them the recommendation in different sectors: co-development, mobility, migration topics, Millennium Development Goals, now Sustainable Development Goals. So opportunities, funds opportunities. So we sit with them, we present them the recommendation, and we tell them, this is what you have to do for the young people from Africa and Europe. This is the program that you have to create. This is the opportunities you have to provide to the young people to be well included in your countries. So this is the high-level commitment we have to the presidents and the prime ministers from Africa and Europe countries. And they do actually. And at the same time, we're monitoring if they are doing or if they are feeling the recommendation we present to them or not. And if not, we remind them, you have this commitment, you have to do this. So that's why after this summit, it happened in Libya before the conflict in 2010, in November 2010. I was one of the African diaspora delegates from Europe, one of the responsible. So we met many people there and we presented this recommendation to them. That's why now we have many African Europe programs focused on the youth field from European Commission and African Union as well, African Commission in this case. Please, let's go to another. We have an annual training course in Sweden, in Stockholm, among African diaspora and also in different European countries, training young people. This is University on Youth and Development. We have African University on Youth and Development that happened in Africa, and then we have University on Youth and Development that happened always in Europe, always in Spain. We bring together more than 300 young people and young leaders from everywhere to come together during 1 week in the same space, a big space in Spain, to discuss which kind of projects and program we should create among different organizations, youth organizations, among different institutions and governments, which kind of projects and program we should create. I'm saying more than 300 young leaders came from everywhere together to discuss and to create a program that allows us to include young people in their countries. Okay, let's go. I hope. So connecting identities at the University on Youth and Development. As you can see, every year we have a title for this. This here is connecting identities. The main topics of the university and the network we have among young people and youth organizations. Let's go to the next. So this is Africa Europe Youth Summit we did in European Youth Capital. When Prague was European Youth Capital, we invite young people from Pan-African Youth Union, and we invite Secretary of African Union, representatives of Portuguese government, Dutch government, to come together and to discuss which kind of programs as well they should fund to the youth organizations and immigrants organization and young people living in Europe. So we had this opportunity. This is the network meeting we create in Europe that is among East African living in Europe, above all people from Somalia that live in Europe. So they create in that international conference the International Network for Somalian People Living in Europe. So let's go to the next. So I just want to thank you for this opportunity, and you will have more opportunity. You will listen to me today and tomorrow probably. And as I said before, I don't want to leave this place before getting your contact. I truly believe that synergies among people is the key point that allows us to do good things in this world. Above all, for the people in disadvantaged situation. This is what I want to tell you. I'm the project manager. I know well the European programs. And what I do, particularly myself, is to support organization as well. But working in the networking gave me a lot of perspective how people and organizations can work together and do much more than what we do at local or national level. And you will, for sure, I can assure you from a little bit experience I have in the youth field, you will find a lot of people that want the same you want. You will find a lot more people doing the same what you are doing. And you will increase the capacity of what you are doing. Please, please, do not avoid me today and tomorrow, because I would like to do something with you in future. Thank you for this opportunity. Okay. Please. I forgot.
Θέλω να ρωτήσω το εξής. Καταρχήν πρέπει να δουλεύετε με νόμιμους μετανάστες για να μπορείτε να τους μετακινείτε από τη μία χώρα στην άλλη.
Sorry, I need my things. Yes, please.
Επαναλαμβάνω, για να μπορείτε να τους μετακινείτε από τη μία χώρα στην άλλη, πρέπει να δουλεύετε... You must work with legal migrants.
Can you borrow yours?
Can
you borrow yours? Maybe it's more.
I think you can turn it, you have to turn it on because after the blackout it's not working.
Okay. Okay, I will do it again. Okay, yes. Yes, thank you.
Είπα λοιπόν ότι πρέπει να δουλεύετε με νόμιμους μετανάστες, όχι με παράτυπους, διότι διαφορετικά δεν μπορείτε να μιλάτε για ένταξη ή να τους μετακινείτε από τη μία χώρα στην άλλη χώρα. Δεν έχουν το δικαίωμα να μετακινηθούν. Ποια είναι τα κύρια προβλήματα που αντιμετωπίζετε στην ένταξη, στις διαδικασίες ένταξης των μεταναστών, πέρα από τη γλώσσα, που είναι το πρώτο θέμα? Τι σχέση έχετε κάποια προβλήματα με τα θέματα της θρησκείας ή των παραδόσεων των ανθρώπων αυτών που έρχονται από χώρες με την τελώς διαφορετική παράδοση από ό,τι ισχύει σε ευρωπαϊκές χώρες? Και πώς το αντιμετωπίζετε?
Thank you, thank you. This is really good questions. Yes, completely yes. Not myself only. The organizations and the network we have and we face these kind of obstacles. When I mention social obstacles, it's also about language barriers. And I also mentioned that we work with immigrants and refugees organizations. And when I mention different kind of training course, increasing the capacity of young people with immigrants and refugees backgrounds, mainly is not only work with young leaders to train them to do the projects and training people or refugees or immigrants in their countries. It's also to give the opportunity for them to understand the national systems, how they can, for example, you talk about illegal immigrants, how they can work with the national institutions to provide legal documents to the refugees and immigrants in illegal situation. We do this kind of training. We bring, for example, national boards responsible in different European countries to our meetings to listen to the refugees' problems, to listen to the illegal immigrants' problems. What they need, not what they have planned to the immigrants. Because sometimes they have their own plan that doesn't fit to the immigrants or refugees' needs. That's why we bring them together, to listen to us. Yes, the language barrier is one of the main obstacles we have. That's why we provide training courses. We have an advertisement in different immigrants organizations across Europe. For example, in Germany, I will give you a concrete example of Migrafrica. It's one of the organizations we work together that work mainly for illegal immigrants and refugees. They translate documents to the refugees. They have every single day, even Saturday and Sunday, 2-3 hours of training course on German language. They translate 5 languages to the refugees in Germany. They bring refugees to their offices. They train them in language. They translate the documents to them, and they support them to get documentation, legal documents in Germany. And more than this, they follow them to the German institutions to find the way how they can be included. Like say, for example, where they can find the place if they want to be included in the schools, in the national education systems. So they support them for this. Okay? In Sweden, we do the same. And then, among these refugees, immigrants organizations, we link them together to learn from each other. What one can do in Germany can be also multiplied in Sweden. What one can do in Sweden can be multiplied in Portugal. What is good in Portugal can be done as well in Ireland. So this is the way how we link it, and we multiply the best practices among refugees, immigrants, and immigrants organizations in Europe.
Έχετε χρησιμοποιήσει καθόλου πληροφορική να διευκολύνετε τους μετανάστες να έχουν πιο εύκολη πρόσβαση στην πληροφορία? Και εννοώντας, εμείς εδώ είχαμε κάνει ως Ινστιτούτο Μεταναστευτικής Πολιτικής με το Πανεπιστήμιο και με άλλους φορείς στην Ευρώπη ένα πρόγραμμα που λέγεται Immigration Policy 2, με το οποίο τους δίναμε το δικαίωμα να μπαίνουν μέσα και να βρίσκουν τα έγγραφα που χρειαζόντουσαν να συμπληρώσουν για τις νομιμοποιήσεις που κάναμε, ώστε να μπορέσουν να αναγνωρίσουν και τα στοιχεία που πιθανώς είχαν τα εργασιακά τους δικαιώματα, να βλέπουν την νομοθεσία της κάθε χώρας μέσα στην οποία βρισκόντουσαν, και αυτό τους διευκόλυνε να έχουν δηλαδή ευκολότερη πληροφορία και να ενημερώνονται για κάθε αλλαγή που προκύπτει μέσα στη μια χώρα. Έχετε αναπτύξει αντίστοιχα προγράμματα εσείς στο δικό σας χώρο?
Okay, when you mean application, you are talking about individual application for refugees, right? Okay. Yes. So as I said, yes, it's in European countries. Yes. I will focus again in the Migrafrica organization that we work together in Germany, because I'm very linked with them, but there is other organization that we do projects together as well. And for example, Portugal refugees organization that we support them to legalize their organizations. So yes, for besides having this training every day in language, I mentioned also to support refugees to get legal documents. And when I said to support the refugees to get legal documents. It's about also provide them the information. It's about also to not only fill the application for them, but teach them how to fill the application. Because at the same time, they are learning German, they also teach them how to fill the application. Because this will allow them to teach their families or to fill the application for their families and friends as well. That, for example, didn't have the opportunity to come to the office to be trained. Because you know, many refugees, they have money problem, financial problem. Many cannot pay the transport. But there is opportunity that in the project, that's why we also train the organizations to get funds opportunity that support local transport to the refugees from one side to another side, to participate, to be trained, and also to multiply their knowledge. Because we know they have financial problems, and many of them cannot pay local transport from one side to another side. More than fill the application for them, they also teach refugees to fill the application themselves. Good? No more questions? Good. So I will be here more, let's say, one day and a half. Abuse. Thank you.